What's the best part of recruiting? It's the people you work with, and sometimes it's the laughs you share between calls. You ever wonder what Myrna and Paul chat about while planning their next podcast? Now's your chance to find out. Welcome to Between the Calls with Myrna and Paul, where the conversation is real, unfiltered, and always a good time.
So fly, so new. Get that bag, money green. Out with the crown, I'm that queen. Glitter gold, on a roll. Watch me shine, watch me glow. This is the love life.
Hello.
How are ya?
I've been good. We've been busy recording and...
Oh my God, so busy. And I'm just like, it's like almost Christmas, and I just thought...
I know. Look at all your Christmas stuff.
Okay, yeah, Myrna was like, those weren't up yesterday. And I realized I don't have any festive like sweaters. I used to have some for an ugly sweatshirt, but I think I threw them away because they were in X's or something. I don't know.
Just get rid of them.
Just get rid of the memory, throw it out, burn it. I think I donated it, so hopefully there's somebody out there with a very naughty sweatshirt on. Oh my goodness.
Funny.
But it's been a fun ride, because when did we start recording this?
I don't remember. Was it in like August and July?
Episode. I have to remember, because I remember it's like we were like, let's just
We
start
had Kathy
recording.
Gans.
Kathy Gans was on.
Kathy Gans.
And then we had, hold on, I'm gonna
JD.
go back to, oh my God, so many people. JD, Travis, Aaron Bogdanovich, and then it's just been an adventure.
Yeah.
Freaking adventure.
Well, and you got married last month.
I did. I got married in Costa Rica, which was super fun. And we got stuck. I'm so sad you couldn't come. But I almost said next time, but
don't say that. More like when you guys like renew your vows or something.
Yes.
Next time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But it's funny because I think about it. Oh, why is this playing? What, did you hear that sound?
No.
Oh, I don't know. I'm trying to go to our videos. There we go, our videos on our YouTube channel. Because I was going to go through them and just be like, oh my God, who the people we had. So we had, let's see, we had Kathy Gans, freaking amazing. And then we had
I think
JD,
was next.
Travis Lewis, Michael Wilson, and Nicole Ham was
oh my God,
probably the most crazy
just
one
so
we did.
funny. Just so funny.
It was funny.
Yeah.
Yep. Scott Panic. Yeah.
Great one.
Mary Landrum, right?
Oh, yeah.
I love Mary.
She's
She's
good.
so sweet and smart. And then Aaron Bogdanovich, JD again, good old Nick Andrews.
Yeah. Oh, yes, Nick. Oh my
Nick
God, that
Andrews.
seems
So long ago. Yeah, that was
I was going to say, so when?
September was your first one. Yeah, September, October, November, December. So 4 months. I think we're doing pretty good. You know, the goal is to get one out a week, and we missed a few, but I mean, we're doing pretty good for that.
Paul landed a new gig, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yes.
But November and October was busy for you because you landed that job. You were wrapping up with
working with Staff Mark,
wedding and all that good stuff, and traveling for them. So
and traveling. So I've been busy. And then Myrna, what have you been up to?
Oh my God. Well, this year I've not been a super Grinch for Christmas.
Did you decorate?
Yes, I actually decorated. If anyone knows me, can believe it. Even my sister was like, I can't even believe you got the tree up before me. I'm like, I know, who am I? But we got all of our decorations up a couple weeks ago, and I guess visiting family, just Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
As you know, my niece is in archery.
Oh my God. She's okay. If anybody knows this, last year, Myrna, by the way, when are we getting those tamales? Are those tamales?
I know they're so good. We won't put the pitted
I'm
olives in them.
going to tell this story because last year, Myrna's little niece was selling tamales.
No, it was this year. It was this year.
Was she 3 or 4?
No, it was
Was she
when
3?
she was little. Yeah, when she was little, she was 3. Yeah.
Okay, so when she was anyways, they were selling tamales to raise money to buy a bow and arrow for her 4-year-old niece now? Is she
No,
12?
no, she
Oh.
turned 9. So when
Oh
she
my
was
God, she's
little,
9.
she
Oh
was
my
like
God.
obsessed with Brave. And anybody that
Yes.
knows that Disney movie, it's about Brave. She has a little bow and arrow, and she just like was obsessed with that movie. And like as the years went on, she got little like toys, like bow and
Yeah.
arrows, little targets, but it's kind of turned into like a real thing. So then
Yeah.
this year, because my niece lives in Mexico, so my sister-in-law came down with her sister-in-law, and we made like a crap ton of tamales. I want to say there was like 40
Okay, but
dozen.
and I was bamboozled into buying some of these for her niece because they were raising
Yeah.
money for it. And I'm eating them and I'm like, "Ooh, what was that?"
What
And
was
there was
that?
a it was an olive seed. And like I
Yep.
text Myrna, I was like, and then we ate another one and there was another olive seed. So I texted Myrna and she goes, "Oh crap, we're gonna kill someone. Someone's gonna break
I know.
into."
Well, like normally, like us, like my mom and us, like we don't use those types of olives, but it is very like traditional in Mexico to use those. So,
Pitted olives. Well,
yes,
it,
I sold to so many of my friends in staffing, like Eric Ryan,
yeah,
just all sorts of people. Robin Bumgunner, but
yeah,
everybody just loves our tamales.
yes. And now her
So
niece
we
is
did.
like deadly with a bow and arrow.
Now she actually knows how to use. Oh, I didn't even tell you she graduated. So she was shooting at, I think it was 15 meters, and now she's at 30 meters. And which,
That's almost
I don't.
100 feet. That's crazy.
I know. So like as it was really crazy. It was really fun. So
Good.
I did not think that this was going to be like a thing for her, but it
But
seems
she's
like it
in.
will be. But
She's
she seems to like it, and
I
she
hope she
did really
chooses
well.
I hope she chooses good and not evil.
So far it's good, so we'll
Good. Or maybe a
see.
Robin Hood kind of thing. I don't know.
I know.
Oh,
I'm just like, oh my God, like a true bow and arrow. Just like,
but
what an interesting sport.
but what about our podcast? I mean, I have been, because I know we want to come out with a survival guide, and I have
Yes.
learned, I think that talking to these individuals has been so enjoyable. One, because it's nice to stay connected to such like talent. But again,
Yeah.
our goal was to bring together a community that works very remote and we're not as connected as we used to be. I mean, yes,
Yeah.
we're connected on social, but the staffing industry as a whole, we used to have these huge bullpens where we learn from each
Yeah.
other. And I think training has laxed in some companies. In fact, some companies don't even have them, which is why I'm actually
They're
being
like,
hired to help with
yeah.
training. But I think that, giving our little bits of knowledge that people can take away was
Yeah.
kind of our goal, right? And I feel like we're getting
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. We're bringing that community together. And I feel like, with the guests that we have and we will have, it brings a lot of the stuff that made us love this industry so much and the
And
job,
and
and the
successful.
people. Yeah, and
Yes.
successful. So that's what I'm the most excited about. And yeah,
Yeah.
we talked to a ton of people that we personally worked with, or
And
trained
so
us in some
yeah.
cases.
And some that
So
we didn't know
to
too. And like, we
yeah,
like Scott, we didn't know that well. And then,
yeah,
Mary Landrum. I have that guy Adam from the UK. He said he's going to be
yes,
on next year. And do you want to give
yeah,
a teaser for our first episode that's coming out second week
yeah.
of January?
So at least, and I think most of like large staffing firms have some sort of like training where they, after X amount of time. So I don't know if you went, we weren't in the same training class, Paul, but I think
No,
we went
to
within
the
the same
same kind of,
year
yes.
or something.
It was definitely in the same
But
time frame. Yeah.
I think we'd been a couple years in, maybe a year, two, maybe.
Yeah.
But then they fly you out to our training
Cincinnati.
center in
Yeah.
Cincinnati.
Which is
And
so funny because that's where I'm going now, where Staffmark's corporate
I
is. It's
know
like full circle.
when you said that, I was like, that is so weird because that's exactly what I
What?
like thought about. So we
So
have
who do we
So we have
what?
Rich Thompson, and he was one of our trainers, but his career is like amazing. Like started as a
Phenomenal.
staffing manager, he got into leadership, he grew, he was training and development, like global
Wrote a
HR,
book. Yeah.
wrote a book, and so those are the types of people we want to keep bringing on, the
Yeah.
people that are willing to share their story and
Yeah.
their
And
experiences and what they
and I tell
learned. And Yeah.
I tell you what, like talking to Rich, it was funny because reading his book and talking to how he
Yeah.
approaches life and how he is a leader and even how he was as a producer, right? And his
Hmm.
mindset, like it is, it brings me back to how we were trained, and it's how I train today because you don't need to recreate the wheel. The way we do staffing, the way we interact with candidates has not
Yeah.
changed in 25 years. And I
Yeah.
just feel like if you feel like you have a better way, I would say stop and maybe look at the way we've been doing it because it is the way that has been super productive. It creates awesome
Yeah.
relationships. Um, yeah,
Well, and
it's
I do
just,
think that there's like the fundamentals of staffing and recruiting,
yeah.
but how you get there can vary. But I think you're right. The fundamentals don't go away. Picking up the
Mm-mm.
phone doesn't go away. Interviewing people doesn't go away.
And how we
Can you
interview
have
people, right?
AI?
Yeah,
Yeah. Can you have AI jump in and help take notes and, all of this stuff? Of course, but the
yeah,
fundamentals just do
yeah,
not, at least in the 20 or so years we've been doing this. I don't think that that really changes. You still build relationships.
yeah.
You still have to have like hard conversations, good conversations.
Yeah.
It's,
You know,
yeah.
Myrna, it reminds me of that story I wanted to tell, and it's my little like hashtag TED Talk. But
Oh,
it
yes, I've been
yeah.
waiting for this. You wouldn't tell
So
me until this.
well, it's what's interesting is like we talk about recruiting, and sometimes recruiters become processors. I mean, we only place 5 to 10% of the people we meet,
Yeah,
right? And I say this day in, day out. If we're not only getting market data for ourselves of
yeah,
every interview, but providing value. Like just because we can't place a candidate does
yeah,
not mean we can't help them. And so
yeah.
many recruiters and candidates in recruiting feel processed. And it's because
Hmm.
the recruiter looks at a candidate and says, I can't place you next. And that's a crappy recruiter. And I will tell you, there's so many out there. And
Yeah,
people, and what's horrible, even worse, is some good recruiters fall into that habit and they just get in
yeah.
that transactional mindset. And so I tell a story about how it's so important that we positively impact every single person we connect with. Not only does it make your job more enjoyable, that means like the other 85 to 90% of your candidates leave feeling like this was impactful for me. And so I tell a
Hmm.
story it's called the hot mess candidate story. And I'll tell you why calling her a hot mess. I'm allowed to. But when I worked in Denver, I remember there was a couple people there. I don't know if it was Michael or somebody up there, but all of the recruiters that I worked with in Denver, like we lived and breathed that mindset that we want to positively impact every candidate, whether it's helping with their resume, giving them some interview advice, maybe what they wore, maybe something they said in the interview. And I mean, there were times that I would ask them, where have you applied? And I would give them a name of somebody at that company that they could call themselves to help get their
Yeah.
resume to the top, which took me no time at all because we have
Hmm.
loads of data that we can give them for free.
Yeah.
And doing that to every single candidate, they left with something, right? They might not get a job, but they left with something. And the team in Denver did this. They were so good. We had a great reputation. Candidates were referring people to us. But one day I received a phone call from, I think it was like a CFO. And they're like, can I talk to the managing director? And I'm like, crap, who pissed off who, right? Because normally when we get a call from an executive at a company, we either recruited somebody we shouldn't or
Yeah.
we stop calling. And so I'm prepared for this, like, all right, who did what, right?
Yeah.
But he got on the phone, and this guy was actually a target company of ours. And which is why I thought, oh, yeah, we pissed off somebody.
Yeah.
He calls me and says, listen, Paul, he's like, I wanted to talk to you because I have a daughter. She's in her mid 20s and she's graduated college. She's still living at home. Paul, she's a little bit of a hot mess, which is why I'm allowed to call her a hot mess because he called his daughter a hot mess. Okay. Not being rude, just using his language. And he was like, Paul, he's like, honestly, like we are trying to get her a job. And, I told her, you should go out and work with some agencies, right? Go talk to agencies.
Yeah.
I use agencies in my company. And through what he did is he said that his daughter came home the other night and they were sitting around the dinner table and they were talking about kind of her day. And she said, oh, well, I went and met this company and he didn't find me a job, but she told us all about the stuff that your recruiter did to help her, like with her resume. And I think he gave her a name of somebody she could call at a company. He's like, and
Hmm.
Paul, if you treat my hot mess of a daughter like that, I can't imagine how you treat all of your candidates. And if that's the way you operate, I need to work with you.
Yeah,
And
that's
that
awesome.
like you imagine like the fact of like just impacting a candidate and who they know,
Yeah,
it is cyclical. And we
yeah,
forget that it not only does it make us feel good, but it opens up doors. And it's like that's
yeah,
why I just encourage people to remember that even though this candidate might not be a walking placement where you can make money off them, which it stinks we have to think we have to be closest to the dollar, but everybody you meet, take a minute, take 3 minutes and be impactful
yeah,
because
yeah.
it makes you a better person and it helps just the community in general. And that's kind of like my little TED talk on like I just love it. It's all those stories I tell all the time because it
Yeah,
just reminds people of the fact that we need to actually give back and give to everyone because
yeah,
it is reciprocity.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So I
No,
have
that's
three
such a good
more.
one. Yeah,
Oh
that's a
yeah.
good one. I don't know that I knew that one, Paul.
Yeah, it's a good one. And I love to tell training because you know what happens is people in a training class hear that and I see their wheels turning like, oh my God, how many people have I just let go and let leave,
Yeah,
right? Or got off that virtual and not done anything. And I'm like, how many people have a negative opinion of you because you're like every other recruiter, right? Like it's
yeah,
just so much. So it doesn't
yeah.
the bar is low. The bar is low for recruiters sometimes. So it's easy to impact it.
Well, and I think you said something kind of interesting earlier about, there's going to be some recruiters that suck.
Mm.
And yes, that can be true, but I do think that it's probably like their environment that
It could
they're
be environment,
in.
could be training, it
And
could be a lack of
absolutely. It could
training.
be leader.
Yeah.
It could be, not a good job match. That's fine too. But I do think, and look, I'm not giving in, people excuses on why recruiters are a certain way or not, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we're all human.
Mhm.
Everybody has a job to do. Every day can be challenging. And to your point, it's like, well, you're making so many connections. Just make it a positive one.
Yeah,
I
totally.
like that.
Yeah,
You know, and,
so
and something else that you kind of alluded to, but I know it kind of came up in our conversation yesterday with Rich was like the power of networking.
oh, yes. And
Like,
keeping your people close, like just keeping connected. Yes.
yeah, staying connected. And I can tell you that there's been times in my life where I've not been the greatest at that. When you're comfortable in a job, things, making money, things are going great. That stuff is kind of in the
Yeah, you get you
backfield.
get you get in that tunnel vision. And I
Yeah.
think actually you mentioned how the podcast is like,
Yeah, absolutely. Because I do think, especially those of us working remote,
mhm.
I look at my four walls in my office and, it does seem super small in comparison to the grand like scheme of things,
Yeah,
right?
it is.
Like you kind of get zeroed in and you're working, I've got my double monitors, I've got, all the
Yeah,
windows
yeah, yeah.
open, working away and loving it, but you do kind of get pulled into this like environment. So to kind of be able to peek out a little bit and see what other people are doing and
Yeah.
what's changed in their lives. As you know, I wasn't on social media for
Ever for a
it was a
while.
while. I
Yeah.
think it was like 4 or 5 years, 4 years,
Mhm.
I want to
Yeah.
say.
It's forever.
And
Can't believe.
yeah, in social media years for sure, because then I jump on and I'm like, wait a second, you had like two kids in the time frame that I like, how is that possible? I've had like
Yeah.
zero kids in that
It's good,
time.
but I think it's good to
Yeah,
disconnect. But I think to your point with
yeah,
Rich, like it's that like keeping that community, right? And making sure
yeah,
you invest in your community
yeah,
by just not only just saying hi, but sharing. Like we still, to
yeah,
this point, like I don't know how many conversations we have where we connect candidates with jobs. I don't even
yeah,
get paid on them. I know yesterday I just emailed somebody to Lori Chamberlain because she was laid off of my last company and Lori's like, thank you, I'll pass it on. Like, but that's the stuff that, by the way, we have to remember we have a huge network. And
yeah,
I love when I can just give a candidate away as for
yeah,
reciprocity because I know it comes back tenfold,
yeah,
right? Like I don't
absolutely.
expect payments for these things. This is just like me wanting to help other people that I can help, right? Now, if
Yeah.
it's a job order that I took in, yeah, I'm gonna find my candidate,
Oh
right?
yeah, there's
Yeah,
definitely
yeah. If I have a
parameters
side,
around
if I have a
that.
side fee agreement, I'm going for it, right?
Yeah.
But
Well, and
yeah,
it's not like a bad idea. Like I think even when we were talking with Travis, and it's absolutely true. Like you're like And I knew exactly what he was talking about when he talked about like this like underworld of small business owners, even specifically within staffing and recruiting. It's like a different world. Like when I was kind of awakened to it, I'm like, oh, it's not like the big corporate worlds where you're just like
Yeah.
everyone's an enemy and that's a competitor and you only work within your teams and even then you kind of don't work with those teams.
Yes.
But the
Yes.
smaller business, like, the Shad Griffiths of the world, Matt Watson and Amy
Yeah.
and Gonzo, like Travis Lewis, like all of these people starting their small firm. I know that they couldn't have done it without the people that they've had along the journey, the
Yep.
training and development, the coaching, the
Yep.
mentorship, the relationships, their
Yep.
network to be able to jump into it.
Yeah.
And it's just like a whole different world. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm scared every day doing this for myself,
Yeah.
somewhat by myself.
But
It's Steve in Utah, but it's a way different life. And it's the life that I prefer now.
And you know what? And two things that you
At
brought
least for
up.
the time being.
One of the things Travis said, which I enjoyed, is he said he networks with other people in other specialties, right? He has this little co-op that he forms. And I
Yeah.
think that it's kind of like building your little like your brand of companies where you can
Yeah.
share.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
think that's huge. And then also like I remember that the one thing that Rich said, and it came back to me is like you want people talking about you when you're not in the room.
Yes.
And
Yes.
well, and saying good things. I'm sure
Good
we've
things,
had people
yeah.
say bad things, but that's the point, right? Is it's
Yeah.
like, what is that? And so
Yeah.
I think there's just be something to be said for those type of methodologies and how we kind of like approach recruiting. I don't know. There's been so much good stuff on this podcast, and it's like
Yeah.
so many nuggets. So I'm so excited to continue, and we have some fun guests, and 2025
Yeah.
is going to be a freaking fun year.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. What are you looking forward to for 2025?
More scuba diving.
Nice.
Honestly, I feel like I'm really excited at the work I'm doing with Staff Mark. I'm doing, and there's other, just the networking and
Yeah.
the relationships we've been building.
Yeah.
There's the software, that Harmony software hero that we've been developing is just
Yeah.
for AI that's going to revolutionize the way we utilize AI and, basically inbound staffing leads. I mean, it's huge. It's already saving so much time for recruiters making outbound calls and reconnect journeys that like it's going to be huge. I don't know. There's I'm excited about a lot of things. What about you?
Yeah. Well, I'm excited about just like where honestly my life has been. It's going great. Cannot I mean, I'm never a complainer. I mean, I can complain, but in general, like I just, I'm enjoying the work I'm doing.
You complain because you have
partner.
to put on like clothes and go out. That's what
Oh
you
yeah,
about.
those are the things I'll always like. Oh, I gotta brush my hair today. Yeah, I will complain about that. Wait, I can't just wear it up in a bun. Okay. All right.
No, but I'm so excited. I can't. I hope we get to go camping again this year.
Yes, we did an awesome camping trip. I want to definitely do more camping.
I still have your
next
pop
year.
up, your tent thing. Make sure you
I'm
get it.
picking it up.
Yes,
Picking it up
good
this
Thursday.
No, there's just so much to be
Yeah.
excited for, and I'm just like excited for the things I don't even know
Yeah.
are going to happen next year. That's what I'm excited
It's
about.
gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
Well, Myrna,
for sure.
I am grateful and thankful for
Yeah.
you.
Yes, me too,
And
of course.
I can't wait to see you and celebrate the holidays with you tomorrow and friends. And
Oh my God, it's Thursday tomorrow.
go get your present, Myrna.
I know. Eek, I gotta go do that today. But
Right
I'll
now,
probably
right
still
now,
do
Myrna.
it. I'll probably still do it on my way there tomorrow.
Oh my God. I love you much.
All right, love you too.
Talk to you later.
Get that bag, money green. Out with the crown, I'm that queen. Glitter gold on a roll. Watch me shine, watch me glow. This is